Welcome, everybody, to Pick Central on the Barstool Sportsbook YouTube channel. It's Win Total Wednesday. We're ready to talk some college football. Before we get into that, first, welcome in Marty Gamush back to the studio for the first time this week. Marty, good to have you back. How are you?
Great to be here. I watched the show the past couple of days. You guys have been fantastic. I was sick, but I'm back. I streamed on Monday.
Okay.
And Big F, how much money I went up?
Actually, I was watching you a little bit. I think it was Monday.
I went up $700.
You were playing blackjack?
Yeah.
I was watching a little bit.
I went up $700 in an hour and a half. How much money? I'd like you all to guess. Actually, how much money do you think I bet?
I don't know
Like
what
per
that means.
hand, you're saying?
No. Like so in total. So say you bet $500 and
Gotcha.
Oh, I bet you bet like $6K. I bet it's a high number. Because if you're playing for an hour online, you're betting a bunch of stuff.
No, I'm gonna say like 12.
15?
$30,000.
Okay, I went way low. But I know it's a lot.
I should have said that.
I was betting
playing like $500
I was
hands.
doing $700 hands, and then like you don't realize because
higher.
you're winning, losing, whatever, and that's why it's the best. But like at one point, it was like, yeah, you bet 30,000. I was like, oh my god, and I still won.
I've been in a few of those before. Too.
And I was doing $20 spins. The Barstool Casino is fucking awesome. Like I could sit there for a while too, and you don't lose your money fast. Like you win. I won a lot too. Like it's the best fucking thing in the world.
It amazes you the difference between the doing online and live, how fast you get them in.
Yeah.
Like you just the speed of it when you don't have the dealers in person. I mean, you literally
Well, that's the thing.
You get 3 or 4 times as many in because of that.
In person though. That's the thing. I play with the dealer, like the live.
I do as well. I prefer the live dealer.
So it's still like you're still kind of getting the real hand.
I just like seeing real cards.
Yeah. It's nice.
Like it's nice over like the machine. I prefer it over the machine.
You talk to them too. You talk to them. They know who you are. They know who I am now. It's
I'm sure they do at this point.
Mine they do as well. For us, do you have the check mark?
Yeah.
That's I get the check mark too. It's
like,
funny.
oh, Big Ev.
It's fun. There's one guy that I feel like he's always the dealer when I play. I'm playing a lot, especially if there's been no sports. I played a lot like this week.
It's also nice to be back because the All-Star game was basically just a Yankees suck fest again too. So that's all I care about.
Giancarlo.
Well, we had it with I thought I had it with Goldschmidt.
Yeah, and then
Yeah, I did too.
Well, like if you're gonna lose no runs in the first, but your guy hits a dinger, you're like, this is great, and then AL comes back like they always do, and
they just I said it yesterday, like with the AL, they just win All-Star games.
yeah,
I don't know.
that's how it goes.
I'm just lucky that I root for the team in the AL because I just take them out of principle. I mean, it's a coin flip fucking game.
that one side's won like 90% of
They've
the
won
time.
it like the last like 20. Like what? I'd love to see what the actual number is. But
Like 16 or 17 out of 20 maybe.
I think it's something like
crazy
that.
like
It's
that.
wild. It's definitely been they've been hitting like a 70-80% clip the last like 15-20 years. It's crazy.
And like not every one of those years, the LA had a better roster though.
I feel like there's been a lot of them. They say the NL had a better roster.
That's sort of yeah. I mean,
Usually, I feel like usually it's the same thing. And this year was kind of the same where it's like they like the AL starting lineup better, but they're like, oh, the NL is deeper.
you just can't make heads or tails of it. It doesn't.
Well, see, I feel like in the past too, I always feel like the AL like had more bats just because of the DH, but now obviously that's evened out.
Right, yeah.
I thought a few observations from what I saw. I thought the Alex Manoah thing was awesome when he was talking to John Smoltz saying what pitch was coming and stuff. I mean, that was they always mess around with different inside the game stuff, but that was freaking cool.
Honestly, it was hilarious when he was like throw the slider, and he just throws the slider, just hits McNeil.
Yeah.
He's like, my bad, bro, my bad.
Yeah, then
That was funny.
McNeil got asked about it and said, I heard you were telling him what pitches to throw. He's like, I got to talk to Smoltz. Like, they were having some fun with it. So
It was like
I show you when you can enjoy it, when they want to make it enjoyable to the masses, it can be.
I liked it, but it was not well received.
I know people were hating on it. I thought it was cool.
Like, oh, it doesn't work again. Like even people here, like it wasn't just.
Tommy Smokes was hating on it. I saw.
On the Manoah part,
like a lot of just like in-game interviews while they play, they didn't like.
I could see where someone wouldn't like that they do like so many of them, because even there's been somewhere I've watched like Sunday Night Baseball, they do it, not as many, but I remember the one I watched, they had Trout and they had him on for literally like 2 innings straight. They had him like in the outfield, in the dugout, like back in the outfield. And his was interesting because I feel like you just don't get a lot of him. So it was interesting to see it. Like he actually is kind of like a normal, like you can tell he's like a normal, like Northeast guy, like breaking balls kind of thing. But yeah, I didn't hate it. I mean, I didn't mind. I could see where someone could say it was like a lot because they just kept doing it all the time. But like I didn't hate it. I was kind of
They do it to appeal. They're asking like generic questions with that. There is an element they could do that would not go over like really well, except with baseball nerds. Of like getting a guy like, hey, what are you looking for here? You know what I mean? Like, well, oh yeah, that guy can run on first base, like the outfield. I want to shade this way. Like, basically giving tips of like how they play would be great for baseball nerds, but it's not going to go to the masses.
Yeah, like I would like if a guy's up being like, oh, I'm expecting a curveball here, and he fucking hits a home run on a curveball.
Yeah, or just even little things like, yeah, Mookie Betts is up. Yeah, he's a great first pitch hitter. Like we talked about that in the game plan. But you don't want to give things away. But like just that, like a conversation of like, or even saying too, like, I don't know, whatever. Like watch how he drops his elbow, or look at his hand speed, like compliment, whatever. You know what I mean? Like baseball is definitely like nerdy like that. But to the masses for 3 innings, like nobody's gonna want to.
No.
Watch that.
See,
Maybe in spring training.
I liked it more for the pitcher. I feel like the hitter, they just usually struggle when they do it.
Yeah.
There's just too much going on. Like
You got to process.
trying
it
to
so quick.
focus.
You got to process.
Got guys throwing 100 miles an hour. Like the pitching, I thought I hadn't really seen that before, so I thought that was unique.
I would like to see like how how the catcher hits the buttons on his knee pad.
Oh yeah.
See, I almost like to see like here, like all right, what are they?
See, I thought about that too, but then I feel like the hitter's right there.
Yeah, no.
Like I'm saying, if he's like talking to him, like the guy's like, all right, we're going slide here. The guy's like, all right,
yeah.
Well, AL 3-2 under hit. How'd y'all's bets do? I lost the under.
I just took the AL. I mean, they won 9 times.
They were like even money too, so you didn't get.
They were like a slight dog, yeah.
Over. Thought I had Goldschmidt. Thought I had no runs in the first. Thought I had the NL. Nothing. So.
Yeah, I lost.
You got to give up on the NL. They just never. They might win the World Series a lot, but they don't win the AL versus NL ever.
But shout out the Fever backdoor plus 7.5 last night.
There you go.
Unreal.
How about people giving you shit for?
Yeah, what was that?
WNBA. WNBA is a.
He said, "Don't bet WNBA. Don't bet soccer." Because I said yesterday on the show, I was like, "I'm gonna have a pick for tonight's WNBA game." Right before the game.
I picked my.
Yeah, it was actually funny. I was glad he tweeted at me because he reminded me to tweet out the pick. Yeah, I'm on the Sky right now. It probably just
I'm on the Sky too.
It just tipped off. It's camp day. Gotta take the home team on camp day.
Yeah.
Oh, all the kids are there, so it's packed crowd.
Yeah, it's on NBA TV. I hope we can get it on if the show's over. Watch the second half.
So second half of baseball starting tomorrow. That's exciting stuff. Also, Win Total Wednesday, we're going to be joined by Brandon Walker here live from West Point, Mississippi in a minute. We're going to take some calls as well, 1-888-STOOL-22. He's not on here yet. We're supposed to be hearing from John Rich because the winning streak ended. Did y'all see that?
I didn't. Very unfortunate.
Minus 900 WNBA is a brutal way to go out. But the thing is, building up to two units is a lot. Going that much, so he's 15-1.
The thing that's tough is he wanted to do the tennis pick, and then somebody pulled out, and so he had to force the WNBA pick as his backup.
To be honest, that's his fault.
Yeah, cucked a little bit.
If someone drops out, you stay away from that day. You know it's not going to go.
Got to forward, yeah.
Hindsight's 2020. He should have tried to be under 15 in the All-Star game.
Yeah, something crazy. But
it's easy to say that now, obviously.
I think you gotta just take the day off when something goes awry like that.
That's what he said yesterday. TJ was peppering him. He said, "Got to make picks."
I said if he wants to win, he's gonna have to make more than 15 picks in a month.
Yeah, TJ. We got 2 calls on hold. Do you know which one of these is John?
Stanko's screening him.
Okay, cool. We're gonna get him on, and then we're gonna get to the Win Total Wednesday. I'm ready to talk some more college football. SEC Media Day is going on too.
I'm very interested to talk about my win total with you guys. Very.
Yeah. Oh man, we've had some fun talking the football this last week. It's been good. All right, we got a screen call. That's not John. That's Kyle.
You see the one of A&M's receivers got in some big trouble. I think it was yesterday or today. I guess yesterday.
What happened?
I think one of the receivers got a DWI and gun charges or something.
Gun charges.
I was reading a little bit that they were or actually, he was supposed to be the guy who got charged was supposed to be representative at the media day today. So they're
oh, that's a tough.
They're basically
tough look.
I think they basically
most of the leaders.
They basically were like, "How's Jimbo going to handle this one?"
That's the second shooting.
Must have literally been last night or the day before.
Shooting incident this season for A&M off season.
Man, I just remember the all-time media days was when the Hugh Freeze thing broke a few years ago with the alleged calling the escorts thing.
he was there at media day that day.
They like broke it that day.
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh,
You can't get out of it. That's like,
You're just there.
oh, that's horrible.
Cameras in your face, microphone.
I can't imagine that.
Also, a great one. Do you see some Arkansas reporter asked Sam Pittman? He just goes, "You're 16-6 against the spread at Arkansas." He goes, "Thank you," and then he just goes, "Go Hogs." So funny. I loved it. Loved it.
It's very interesting that they're allowed to at least like acknowledge what's going on now.
It's legal
Damn.
now. Yeah.
I know. I'm saying for so many years it was like
Very taboo. Yeah.
like fucking Berman saying like +2 on the thing, and Musburger with his, and Al Michaels with his, like
Or even Berman.
They always make the over comment.
I remember being like a really little kid and being so confused. Like I remember say it was
the arrow with the 29.
like it would
31.
literally be like the Giants like lost by 2 and they like and his like prediction and they would be like the team circle. I'd be like, what the fuck?
And it, and all these companies are like for years like poo-pooed it and like it's bad, and then we were way ahead of it. It's just interesting now that coaches are on board to at least like acknowledge what's going on.
I mean, I thought
Have to.
And not get like the
Because I think you got to think boosters are gamblers. These guys like
I
your
got
fans
it.
are
10 years ago though, that comment comes out and they tell Pittman like, don't say it. Like you'll get fined. Like he had to be like no comment. Like now he can at least like have a laugh about it, or like you hear it with the coaches. So it's just interesting how far it's come.
I'm sorry to go away from it, but back to baseball for a second.
that's fine.
Marley Rivera, is that her name? Should not interview people.
Oh, the judge.
What she did to the judge is fucked up. The guy is at
It was
a
very cringy.
all-star game. They did it to Juan Soto too after he won the
Run Derby.
home run derby. They were like, oh, so like we don't. You won in the Nationals. Will you be in 2 weeks? Like I don't want to talk about it. I just won the home run derby. I don't care. Judge, he was.
Well, it threw me off because he literally talked like the day or two before and saying how he wanted to be with the Yankees and it's not about making the most money. So it just was a weird just to put him on the spot like that, right? Like he literally just addressed it.
And what else is he gonna say? He's like,
he doesn't know. Like it's the middle of the season.
Let me tell you, bad answer. But
I didn't like. No, I surely didn't like it.
bad answer.
I was honestly I was kind of just pretending like it didn't happen.
Me too.
I watched it and I was like, I'm gonna. He was like, I'm not even gonna get mad. I'm just gonna
so mad.
put it back.
Because he's trying to say like, oh, he's not just the Yankees. Like there's other Yankees on the team. I know what
I hated that.
It was a bad answer.
Not like
though.
that.
It's just been like, hey, I would like to be with the Yankees.
I was like, no, but I like you the most.
Yeah, I would have been like, hey, it's up to the Yankees, but we'll see. But stop putting these fucking guys on the spot about their contracts and it's like,
He's gonna be a Yankee. I'm really not that. Maybe I'll end up eating my words, but I'm really not like that worried about.
So
it.
would you trade the farm for Juan
Soto? Yeah, I would.
Then Aaron Judge is gone. That's just a fact.
I think
I'm fine with that. I'm not fine with it.
I'm greedy. I want them both.
But you can't.
Why not? We're the Yankees.
You can't have.
I'm a greedy motherfucker.
Soto's 23.
There's no
so
cap.
It's like you get a lot of years.
What'd y'all think about the Nats making Soto? They didn't charter a flight for him because they were so pissed he turned down that contract. Y'all see that story?
I think.
I saw the story about the A's being cheap enough that they.
Well, Blackburn took the Stros. He took the Stros
Crazy
charter over.
And
It's Blackbird. It's like the Indian Express in Major League.
Yeah. What's interesting about that is that now the A's are so bad that even the Astros feel bad.
The A's, it makes sense.
No,
They're
no,
like a poverty
but
franchise.
The A's and Astros had some bad beef for the past couple of years when they were competing for that division.
Yeah, but Blackburn's a trade piece, and they could use this. They could use a pitcher.
I got it. I'm just saying it's interesting that the Astros catered to it, and it just goes to show you how bad they feel bad for the.
Think about the NBA. They'd be all over this shit.
Yeah.
They'd be like, hop on the charter, pal.
Oh, of course.
Yeah, but once
sign with us.
But I don't know. I would, for everyone that's saying oh, I wouldn't give up this much for Juan Soto. It's like, all right, all 7 of your prospects, you just want him to be him. You already got what he is. 23, bro, is crazy.
Would you
highly unlikely all 7 become him, or even 2 become him? The Mets are saying they have to
highly likely 1 will even.
The Mets are saying they have to put Alvarez and they have to put McNeil in that deal.
Yeah, you have to. The more than that.
I would say the Yankees might have to give up Dominguez even.
You have to.
Probably.
The other part of it too is that
I heard Volpe doesn't like me. But
you might get away.
Well, I don't give a shit about him.
He's gonna be a trade piece for somebody big.
You might get away not putting in a guy like McNeil, or a viable guy who can play right now for you guys. I don't know who they would put in. I can't, you know what I mean? Whatever. if you took on the Strasburg deal, because that's a bad deal. The Nats want out from under that contract. So you could be like, hey, we don't have to, I'll give you all the prospects and whatever, but I'm not going to give you McNeil, but I'll take fucking Strasburg's deal because it's so bad.
It's not crazy, but yeah, it's again, does anyone really want that?
Like baseball,
Also, only
baseball they don't really
certain
do
amount
that.
of teams can. What's this maniac's problem?
He's like, oh, we're talking baseball in July. How
Tell us when
terrible.
you're coming on. All right, go ahead.
Nothing
Do the
worse than,
intro.
I mean, a college football guy who got roasted on his top 10 by Robert Griffin is here.
Just because Robert Griffin was whiny about it, he doesn't belong on that top 10.
He doesn't, but he had some good points.
No, he didn't. He was whining.
Who was one of his points?
Lamar.
He said that Michael Vick shouldn't be on the top 5. He's wrong.
That's crazy.
That's
I
pretty
think
egregious.
that's
He's a little for. I didn't really get to see him enough. I was kind of like that was right when I was like.
Oh,
starting
you didn't
to
put
watch.
Dion on there.
Okay, well, Robert Griffin III has never seen Dion play college football. He has no idea. And when I was 8 years old, I didn't know what a cornerback was. You had to be like a running back or a quarterback when I was 8 years old to matter to me. So I did it honestly.
I thought Lamar was the only one that could add a gripe. I actually thought your list was pretty good.
Yeah, Lamar was the one I thought too.
But some of yours I didn't get to see personally, but I understand obviously how good like Bo was. And these
People
guys.
have a problem thinking when you say the word electric or it means fast or it means 80-yard touchdowns. People had a problem. I put Joe Burrow on the list, but about halfway through that season, Joe Burrow was must-watch TV every single week.
No, I didn't hate it. I saw where someone would say that because I do think it's like there's a certain level when you talk about like when the list is like Vic and like Reggie Bush and
Yeah.
like Bo Jackson and like these guys like Barry Sanders.
Wait, Joe Burrow was on the list?
He was he was number 10.
10.
That's crazy.
Joe Burrow was electric.
Yeah, but there's a lot of electric plays.
There's a lot of electric players. I agree. It's hard to
Even
narrow
like,
down the top 10.
I mean, even like Tavon Austin was like one of the most electric players.
He represented West Virginia. You had Pat White on there,
I had Pat White.
which that one I agree with. That was a good pick. I love Pat White.
I didn't want to put 2 West Virginia on there, and Pat. A lot of people had problems with Pat White. Pat White was fucking amazing.
Honestly, you could almost either went him or Steve Slayton, and I wouldn't have faulted either
Do you
one.
think Joe Burrow is just because it's like 1 year?
No, I don't care if it's just 1 year. I mean, like, there's a lot of guys that are just 1 year. So, like Barry Sanders was just 1 year. I don't know. It's something about that year. Like, he took over college football a lot like Johnny did his year, but Joe Burrow actually won a national championship.
Do we have that list by chance, TJ?
Johnny won September. Never forget.
He did.
Well, yeah, but Johnny was the story of college football for all of 2012, even though, until Manti Te'o had a fake girlfriend.
I can't wait for that.
See that trailer?
I did.
Nuts.
It's. I don't know that I want to watch. By the way, sports documentaries. Do we really need a 7-part documentary on Derek Jeter?
Yes, you do.
Probably 9.
No.
Probably not enough. Probably at least
Well,
like 9
he
parts,
is an
10 maybe.
interesting.
No, there's nothing interesting about him.
because you don't know
You can't-
anything. That's
it's
why.
like this, I don't even get like
You
people.
guys are so dumb, and you
can't-
should appreciate him
Marty.
a little bit because you're from New York. I don't think you have to like him. You should at least appreciate him.
Marty, you're
I
punching
appreciate. I
You're
appreciate
punching
David
down.
Wright.
I don't even get mad. They would kill to have a Derek Jeter on their.
Yeah,
baseball
you got like you're a moron, honestly.
Ill.
Because David Wright is someone for the mess that is so like, oh, good for David Wright. I at least appreciate the guy. He's not even close to can't
No,
wear his
not
fucking
a patch on
jockstrap.
Derek Jeter's ass.
He
Brandon.
was a better player than Jeter.
Not
Yeah,
even
right.
close.
Brandon,
Not even close.
You do read a lot. I don't know how in tune you are to history. The only the major World Series they lost, 2001. Do you happen to remember like what was going on in New York City at that time? It was a tough time, right? So like when a leader hits 148, would you say it's fair to say that he didn't step up when the city needed him the most?
I'm just saying it was a
So
tough
you're
time in
doing that
America
against
and New York City. and-
So what
Saying.
about when people are calling him the N-word on the street? You like that?
well,
Obviously
Oh,
not.
all right, just making
I
sure.
don't think anybody here did that.
I didn't.
Well, that's
I mean,
what happened in the documentary.
it's-
you watch the first one. People
it's
are calling him the
Rico might
N-word.
have.
Really?
Yeah,
It's unfortunate
very
that time
sad.
people were more focused on baseball than a national travesty that was going
Yeah,
on.
I don't even think
Maybe
that-
Jeter was too busy lifting a city.
Oh
Maybe
my
instead of
God!
worry about
They
his
were
batting
hosting-
average.
So the Yankees were going on Saturday Night Live during that time. Like the Yankees were pushing that.
Trying to rally America.
Help America. That's why I went after.
Joe
attacked us.
Joe Torre is also the one who took off the cops and fireman hats off the Mets on the 10th anniversary. So some would say that it starts from the top. Joe Torre hates cops and firemen. Derek Jeter hates cops and firemen. And we go right down the list.
I hate some firemen. All right. So did you have that electric players list?
DJ, do you have that list? Yes, he's got it.
There it was. People had problems with Pat White, with Peter Warrick, and with Joe Burrow.
Well, Joe Burrow, I understand. I mean,
Yeah.
Peter Warrick and Pat
Warrick's
White.
he's before our time.
It's all older. Like you're on a
I have
younger
to.
app.
I got to take a personal exemption on Peter Warrick. His legacy hasn't lasted that long, and he didn't have a pro career really. He was incredible in college, and you just got to take my word for it.
I remember that Louisiana, the kickoff Louisiana Tech game. He had that crazy play. The Lamar thing is the one that is the only one.
Lamar could be on it, but
I get it. His teams weren't great, but he was unbelievable.
That 70-point game against Florida State was fucking.
I'll never forget that. I bet Florida State.
Remember what the line was? It was like +1, -1.
Yeah,
It
I was puking on myself.
Crazy.
But no, I think the rest of it more than fine. The rest of it. Who was like honorable mentions that barely missed it for you, Brandon?
Percy Harvin and Lamar Jackson. David Palmer, which is way back for Alabama.
Ooh, yeah, that's a good one.
Yeah, pretty much that. Yeah, a lot of guys. No Ole Miss guys, but a lot of guys.
Dexter McCluster didn't make honorable mention for the 200 yard.
He did not. He did not. He went to a morally bankrupt institution and probably sucked a lot of dick.
The 200 yard straight SEC games was pretty impressive. Well, let's get into. We got Win Total Wednesday. Actually, before we get into Win Total Wednesday, do you have any comments on any of the SEC Media Day stuff, Brandon? Anything interest you at all?
Me on SEC Media Days is the worst event in sports, and nobody should ever pay it any attention. It's a bunch of 48-year-old white guys asking stupid questions of guys whose dicks they would suck.
How do you feel about Sam Pittman being 16-6 against the spread at Arkansas?
That's great. I'm sure there's a lot of spreads that Sam Pittman has destroyed before. So
throw him the alley-oop for that one. Fair enough.
There you go. Well, all right. So this is going to be our second Win Total Wednesday. We did it on Thursday last week, but love it. We've been talking a lot of college football with there not being too much sports going on with baseball All-Star break. Brandon, you're esteemed leader of the show. You lead us off.
Okay. First of all, let's go back through last week. Okay. So Ben Mintz, yours was LSU over, correct?
Yes, 6.5.
You are an LSU fan. Big Ev, yours was?
Utah over 8.5.
Rico, yours was?
Ground Force over 8.5.
And mine was exactly. I don't remember. Anyway,
Alabama.
It was Alabama over 11.5, and I think it was Wisconsin under
8.5. It was 8.5 on Wisconsin.
All right. I will lead us off. Every single year, there are some assholes that say this team is back.
Oh, wow. I think you got the same team as mine, I think.
Every single year, they say this team is back and this team is good. But this year, they're going to be right.
Oh,
in week 2, Texas is going to lose to Alabama in week 2. They might not lose again. 8.5. It's the second highest total in the Big 12 behind Oklahoma. Oklahoma's down. Oklahoma State's down. I don't think Baylor's is good. The whole conference came down a little bit. Enter Texas with a great quarterback transfer, with one of the top 5 running backs in the country, one of the top 5 receivers in the country, a great tight end room, defense that needs some plug-and-play transfers, and offensive line desperately needs 2 5-star freshmen to be good early. But it's in that conference, it'll be enough. Over 8.5 for the Texas Longhorns. That is my answer. That's pick number 1.
You have them winning the Big 12 too, right? I remember you saying
I have them winning the Big 12,
okay,
correct.
because Oklahoma could regress.
I don't like Oklahoma this year.
I'm surprised that he's putting his foot down like that on Texas. It doesn't usually fit somebody like you to be that bullish on Texas.
What are you saying?
I thought they were going to win last year.
Like you're usually more like precautionary of a team being back. So like it's
Brandon Walker is just Brandon Walker surveys the college football landscape, and he is the best college football mind in America. And this is the first time in a while that he sees that Texas is indeed going to be back.
I agree, Brandon.
I think a big part of what your theory is the indictment of the Big 12 too. Correct? Just you think everybody else is down.
Their schedule's not tough. And I think they can handle the Big 12. I think they'll beat Oklahoma. And it really, my biggest thing here with Texas is Steve Sarkisian. I think he is an exceptional coach. who has never had an exceptional record. He's never broken through, but I think it's in there. I think eventually Steve Sarkisian is going to have that year like, oh, that's one of the best coaches in the country, and now is the time to break through and do it.
Can I go next?
Yes.
Because I'm in the Big 12 as well. I am going Texas Tech under 5.5 wins. Listen to this. Murray.
You don't like
what?
Like the
Go ahead.
What'd you say, Schmo?
He's about to ask about McGuire, the new coach.
I was going to say you didn't like Joey McGuire, but go ahead.
No, I think they're going to beat Murray State. That makes sense. Houston
Pick them.
is, you don't know.
Close. It's tough.
Houston's pretty good.
Yeah.
Beat him last year. Tune's back.
At NC State.
Yeah, it's brutal.
At NC State's not
That's all their big dog.
Should be
there.
a loss.
probably going to lose. Texas, loss.
Yeah.
Kansas State, it's like not. It's at Kansas State.
Oh, that's
so
never
it's
easy.
not
Tough
easy.
game.
No, that's not easy on the road.
Oklahoma State,
I'm bullish on Kansas.
at Oklahoma State.
Another tough game.
West Virginia, which is it's at home. That I could see them winning, but it's not like a definite. Baylor,
Supposed to be a loss.
I mean at TCU,
That'll be a
it should be a
TCU's
win,
not
but
gonna
it's
could
not
be a
like
win. In this exercise, you have to give them the win there.
Kansas win.
Put you at like 4.
Iowa State at Iowa State,
Tough.
and then Oklahoma.
Tough.
That
There's
is
only
a-
two, so
There's
Murray
only two definite.
Murray State and Kansas are the only two that are definite.
Yeah.
Even Kansas, I think.
People are high on
I'm not giving
Kansas.
I'm not saying
Everybody's
Kansas is
yeah.
definitely.
No, I like Leipold. I
But
like the
that-
coach too.
Kansas might find themselves in a win total for me this season.
I like
Kansas
the
might be getting some respect in that.
Actually, I'll
showdown.
I did it. I look, he did a decent dive into Kansas this morning.
yeah, I know.
But that is a schedule where it's like, all right, under 5.5 wins is. And I think I'm pretty sure, if I'm not mistaken, it's plus money. The under.
Oh, okay.
Okay.
All right.
So that is,
I know they can score some points.
yeah, for sure.
Curious.
They still got the quarterback from Oregon, and they
Show.
they were 5-2 last year when they fired old dude, and
Things fell
this new
apart.
coach has put a lot of energy into the program. So I think they're going to be decent, but the schedule. You're right, Marty. The schedule doesn't look great.
I also am completely wrong. They're minus 140 the under.
You're so stupid.
But still, minus 140, I'll take that.
You're
It's a
dumb.
tough schedule.
Ev, what you got?
So I'm coincidentally, boys, I'm also in the Big 12. I'm a believer in Oklahoma. I don't think they're going to fall as much as people think. Venables is a very good coach. I think obviously he hasn't been a head coach on the scale like we've seen, but I think I guess we'll see this year, but I don't think the drop off from Riley to him is going to be that crazy. I understand they did lose a lot in the transfer portal. They obviously lose the two quarterbacks, but they bring in Dylan Gabriel, who has shown to be very, very good. They have a coordinator who's worked with them. He worked. He's doing the up tempo at Ole Miss.
Jeff Lebby's good.
So you got a quarterback that's used to that system. They're going to keep running the up tempo.
As long as he can stay on
I
the
think-
field.
The offensive line bring back 3 starters and brought back an all Pac-12 guy from Cal. So I think the offensive line should still be solid. That, regardless, wasn't great for them last year. But the schedule doesn't play out that crazy for them either. Like, their out-of-conference games are pretty easy. Like, they have
Tulane, I know.
they have UTEP, Kent State out of conference, so, like, a couple layups there. And they get most of their tough in-conference games at home. Like, they get Texas at home.
Oh, that's in Dallas.
They get
Yeah, neutral.
It's always
Red River, yeah.
Oh, that's right. Excuse me. They get Baylor at home. They get Oklahoma State at home. So a lot of those tough games in the Big 12 play out for them. They did, and he did pretty well in the transfer portal as well. Venables, I think Venables is going to bring some energy in the program. I think 9 games is pretty low for them. I think they easily could win 10.
What is it, 8.5?
That's 9. It's 9. I think it's 9 with like no juice. Like I think it's 9, maybe minus like 103 or something like that. I don't think they're going to rest like that. And what we kind of talked about with the last two, the Big 12 is not very good. And I do agree that Texas could be better, but they're also they have a lot of talent, but Ewers is still very unproven. Like we haven't seen him take a snap yet, so we don't know for sure. But I like Gabriel and I like Venables. Like I think 10 wins is very attainable.
That's going to be a Frank the Tank tweet so bad when Ewers throws a pick and just goes Ewers. That's the easiest Frank the Tank tweet in the world.
So we don't know about Quinn Ewers, but I'm done doubting first year quarterbacks. Last year I felt the same way about Bryce Young and about C.J. Stroud, and now look at them. Look at what they did last year. So I think Quinn Ewers' talent profile around him is too good not to be pretty good.
No, it's fair.
Have we seen what the Twitter space is going on right now?
Did Dave get in there with Miami?
It's Dave, Big Cat Nadeau, and
Danny Boy King.
Danny Boy King.
Well, that's funny because it's a perfect transition into my Miami win total bet.
Look at that.
DeMarty just could not have transitioned it better. All right, let's touch on the Miami Hurricanes heading into year one under Mario Cristobal. I think Cristobal is a great hire for the culture. They actually have money. They've given him resources and money. So there's some stuff to like about the overall thing. But I think, once again, we've got the traditional situation where everybody wants them to be back before they're back. It's 8.5. They could not stop anybody last year. I mean, they were one of the worst tackling teams in D1. I do think Kevin Steele's a pretty good defensive coordinator, but lots to fix in 1 year. Everybody's going nuts about Van Dyke for his last few games. He went off. He tore up Duke and lame duck Virginia Tech in the game. Dave bet all that money, and everything happened with that. But when he played like defenses that weren't ranked in the 80s or 100s, he still wasn't. I'm not getting the anointing oil out yet on him after his 5-game sample size. They hired Josh Gaddis from Michigan, the offensive coordinator. I know Michigan had a lot better offensive year last year, but they ran the ball and were physical. I'm not totally convinced on him. I think 8.5 is high. They got games at Texas A&M and at Clemson. They're losing both of those. So if you're looking at it that way, they got to go 9-1 in the other 10 to beat you. Now, they're going to be favored, most of them, but they still have, Florida State's a rivalry game. You never know with that.
They avoid NC State, right?
They do avoid NC State. They got to go to Virginia Tech, which is a little pesky. They've got Carolina's going to be a little down. They got them at home. They got to go to Virginia. They go to Georgia Tech, and they play Pitt at home. My main thing, let's hypothetically they drop the 2 at Clemson and at A&M, 9-1 is such a razor-thin margin, especially when you don't have a good defense, and I need to see more from Van Dyke. I don't love the offensive coordinator. I think they go 7-5 or 8-4. I do think Cristobal will recruit well and we'll get it together in a couple of years, but I think people are jumping the gun in year one. Anybody have any thoughts? Yeah.
Are you high on Miami?
I don't know. Miami's confusing to me. The entire ACC is confusing because the teams that are expected to be really good this year are historically teams that don't do well with expectations, like NC State and Wake Forest. Do you really trust that they're going to go into a season ranked highly and stay there, or did they hit lightning in a bottle last year?
They're better off sneaking up on people. You're right.
There's also teams laying there like Boston College who could sneak up on people this year. And then there's Miami and Florida State who, talent-wise, are near the top of the conference, who have needed something to put it all together, and Miami went out and got that something to put it all together. So I'm kind of anxious to say I think they might break through. They might not, though. So it's a coin flip.
What do you think of Van Dyke?
I think he's great. I don't know what you're talking about him. I think he's one of the top 5 quarterbacks in the country.
Okay.
When they decided the De'Aaron King experiment wasn't working and his injuries were too much, and they committed to Tyler Van Dyke, they shot up. They went on the road. They beat Pitt. Pitt was a great team last year. Like, Tyler Van Dyke is good.
There you have it from Mr. Walker. Rico, what you got?
Yeah, I'm gonna go out west and keep going. Hawaii under 4.5. They had a respectable offense last year. Cordero is gone. He went to San Jose State. Okay, so all those like 60th in points, like 45th in pass offense, that all takes a hit down. The defense, they return one of the least amount of starters in the whole country at 5 or 6, depending on which one. Phil Steele has them at 6. Other places have them at 5, which is only 1 on defense. 93rd in points per game, 106th in yards per game last year. 3 bad recruiting classes in a row. First-year coach in Timmy Chang, which could be the X factor. Like, if Chang gets lightning in a bottle and he's an alum, he obviously knows that get high-speed offense, and it could get scary. But when you look at the schedule, this is the thing we always talk about all the time. Double-digit dogs in 7 games, favored in just 2. The swing games are Vandy, where they're already getting 6.5, Nevada, Wyoming, and UNLV. So to do that, to hit the over, they got to sweep the board and go 3-0 against those teams. I find it very difficult to do. I really don't. I just don't think. I think Chang's going to take his lumps as a first-year coach, first-year defensive coordinator. I think they're going to have a really, really hard time. I think it's moved its way up. It's 118 when the blog, I saw it this morning at like 125. I think Hawaii's going to be one of the worst teams in returning production. I think they're very, very weak. I'm going under on Hawaii.
One other comment I want to add is just did you see all the weird stories at the end of that Todd Graham era? I mean,
Yeah, I know.
There's a lot of attrition and weird stuff going on.
Definitely going to be more excited about having a guy who's been there before in Chang, but I just don't think it's going. And they say to Ev all the time, like, nobody wants Hawaii to be good more than us. You know what I mean? Like, it's fun when Hawaii's good, you know? But I don't see it. Brandon, we put you to sleep or you just left?
No, I was sitting back. It's a recliner. Sometimes you got to recline.
That's fine. Any opinion on Hawaii, or you're in the Power Fives right now?
I am in the Power Fives right now. I don't have a strong opinion about Hawaii, but I do want Timmy Chang to succeed. And Todd Graham, by the way, how long are people going to keep giving him opportunities? Because he has flamed out multiple times.
Yeah. He's strange. That's what I was gonna say. He's a strange guy too. Like, just some of the story. Did you read that crazy article of the way he was dealing with the players and stuff last year? And
yeah, it's just guys like him that continue to flame out, continue to be bad people, like, Todd Graham and the Bryles guy and Lane Kiffin. It's just guys like that.
Flaming out with those 10 wins in Oxford, Mississippi. Big flame out there.
Do you have any actual? I wouldn't say dark horse to get in the Final Four, but like.
Oh wait. But ask that, because I got a good hypothetical too. Go ahead.
Well, like, besides the Ohio State, Alabama, like the
Clemson,
Georgia's, like,
I think this is the worst dark horse year we've seen in a long time, at least on paper going in. Alabama and Ohio State are so far ahead of everybody. Then Clemson and Georgia are sitting there with a lot of talent.
I was gonna say it's 1-8.
I mean, it's Texas theory if they go 11-1 and just lose to
listen,
Bama.
there are teams. If USC can take control of the Pac-12. Somebody in the Pac-12 could be there, like Utah or USC. I hate Utah opening at Florida. That's a scary opener. Throughout the rest of the country, I think the Big 12 is so balanced that I don't know that anybody's surviving that. I don't know if anybody outside of Alabama is surviving the SEC West, and I don't know if anybody in the SEC East is good enough to compete with Georgia. So I don't know where the dark horse is going to come from unless Notre Dame, but their schedule's really tough.
So you think it's 1A, 1B, and then like 3? Like, there's not even a 2?
I think this is the most top-heavy year we've had in a very long time. And now, hopefully, that means I'm just wrong and there's surprises. There's a Cincinnati lay in there. Like, BYU went 11-1 last year and returned 21 starters. So they could be really good. They could be in the mix.
They got Arkansas at home too.
They have a tremendous schedule. They play 4 contenders. They play Oregon. They play Notre Dame. The BYU plays like 4 teams that they can ruin their season.
Brandon, you've talked. I also think he thinks it's like golf, where 2 guys are tied, and then it's like, or I'm sorry, more guys are tied, and then he dropped to like 5th. I think he thinks Ohio State and Alabama are way ahead of everybody, which he's probably right. Which is why I posed this question: Alabama and Ohio State both to win their conferences, parlayed is plus 126.
I think that's. I'm probably going to drive to Tennessee in a minute.
Right, you're flipping the juice on that, and you have Georgia as a hedge possibility. And it's tough with 2 hedges, obviously, in the parlay. But I mean, the way you're talking about these 2 and what we're reading and what we've seen of how good these teams are above everybody, how do you not flip that juice and get these 2 guys to win that conference?
At least Alabama has Georgia there who can kind of check them, but Ohio State's got nobody this year in the Big 12, the Big 10 that can check them. Maybe Michigan, their offense will be good, but their defense is going to take such a big step back. So, that parlay plus 126, I think that's anybody watching, anybody listening, take that pick right now.
And then if you want to get even crazier, if you don't think the ACC blows up, you had Clemson, it's plus 307.
I don't trust Clemson as much.
Fair. I'm just saying, and it shows because Clemson's only minus 125 in the years where they've been minus 6,
minus 815,
hundreds, minus 2,000 to win their side.
I'm curious to see them without Venables too. He's been just such a rock.
Yeah,
I'm curious to see if that freshman quarterback gets in there again instead of DJ too.
Yeah. What do you got?
Well, Win Total Wednesday wasn't over. As you know, I always bring 2.
Always 2.
All right.
So I don't know what the fuck y'all are talking about. I bring 2. That's how I do it around here. And usually I like to balance it out with an over and an under. But today I'm Mr. Positive Energy. It's 2 overs.
Beacon of positivity. Brandon,
we go suck my dick, Ben Mint. Shut the fuck up while I'm talking. I'm a beacon of positive energy. You're right. And we're going to the Big Ten, and we're going to the Big Ten West, and we're going to a team that has peaked and has had some valleys recently. But they got a veteran quarterback. They have, if healthy, maybe the best running back in the country. They have veterans at every position, and they've been in the mix recently. PJ Fleck is their coach. They're in a league that is very, very they're in a division where it is very, very topsy-turvy this year. I don't think there's a dominant team out there. The over-under for Minnesota is 7. I'm starting out 3-0 with New Mexico State, Western Illinois, and Colorado at home. Then I go to Michigan State, I might lose. I'm 3-1. I got Purdue at home. I got to get to 7. I got Purdue at home. I got Rutgers at home. I got Northwestern at home.
6.
I have Iowa at home. I have road game at Illinois. I think I'm easily going to get to 7 with Minnesota. I think I'm getting to 9 or 10 with Minnesota.
Damn.
What's the number again?
7.
7?
I looked at it.
That's heavily juiced? That's got to be heavily juiced.
I think it's like 125 maybe. I looked
It
this
ain't
morning.
that. Yeah, I wouldn't have put it if it was heavily
That's
juiced.
a bad.
They were-
That's bad. Yeah, it's.
They were one I had circled as well.
I mean, if everything goes right, obviously, that's how it works. But yeah, I mean, there's a lot of easy ones on there. Sorry, TJ, but there's a lot of easy ones on there.
Well, they don't play Rutgers. I don't know why you said sorry, TJ.
You just said
I
Rutgers.
just said that Rutgers at home.
You listed off Rutgers.
I didn't say Rutgers. Did I say Rutgers?
You did.
You'd be correct to say Rutgers. Yeah.
Oh, they do have Rutgers. That's an easy one. So, whatever. Doesn't matter.
It's good
Anyway,
eyes. No, it's good eyes.
Stop trying to sow discord among me and my producer. Stop that.
I said sorry to TJ. He's on one
Sorry.
again.
It's okay. It's not on the. It's on the potential win list, not a must-win list. So
Over 7 for Minnesota. That's my pick.
Brandon, I have another question. I've been diving deep ACC this week. You mentioned the NC State and Wake having trouble dealing with expectations. Do you think NC State at 8-1 to win the ACC is worth a look? It seems like a pretty good price.
Not really. I mean, I just there are teams out there. I root for one that when they come into a season and people think they're going to be okay, or that people think they're going to be like top 25. That's when we can sneak up and be like number 1 in the country for 5 weeks. But when we come in and people put NC State or Wake Forest or Mississippi State or other teams like that in the top 10, top 15, they don't know how to handle it. The weight of the world gets on their shoulders. I don't think NC State is a team that you bet on to win a conference. I just don't. I think you take somebody with a championship pedigree like a Clemson, like a Miami or somebody like that. I just don't see them standing at the end. Now they're a great team on paper. Devin Leary's a great quarterback, 35 touchdowns, 5 interceptions. But do you when the chips are down and it's championship time, do you see NC State walking off the field holding up their coach on their shoulders? I don't know that I can see.
Yeah, I would have said that, but then the Pitt thing last year made me feel like it's.
Well, that's and Baylor won the Big 12, so it happened last year. So fair enough.
I think you're more likely to be getting that alert of NC State being like 7 in the country and in a war with Georgia Tech in the fourth quarter. To his point, like they're a team that loses the game they're not supposed to.
That's what I was gonna say. I just feel like they're a team that's just so much more likely to be like 8-4 than be like 11-1.
Yeah.
I get it. I just thought 8-1. Considering they're hyped up, their over/unders 8.5. I thought 8-1. You would have figured it would have been 5-1.
Yeah.
8-1 when they're over/unders, they're expected to be that good. 8-1 still seems
Also,
like.
I don't love their defense.
I like their D.
Being on Clemson's side doesn't help.
Good front seven.
Being on Clemson's side,
They got some pieces they do, but I don't know. And just some games last year I watched that we give up a lot of points sometimes.
you got to hope Clemson loses. Like you either beat them, which is at Clemson a small margin, or Clemson's got to lose.
See, that's the revenge. It's a revenge game for Clemson too.
Yeah, I know.
They kicked their ass last year.
Well, that's what I'm saying. Clemson has to lose 2 for you to get ahead of them on your side. Yeah.
I'm curious the Clemson quarterback thing because they got that freshman that's super hyped. Do y'all think DJ? Go ahead, Brandon.
Hold on. You're right. Cade Klubnik. We can talk about him. So we're going to talk about week 1 eventually. But NC State, to me, there's always a team that's hyped up that has a real trap in week 1. Do y'all know where NC State opens the season?
East Carolina. Greenville.
At East Carolina.
Only 10.5, too. It's a low
You're
line.
talking about a team that thinks they're going to be in the top of the ACC. You're talking about a team that thinks they're going to be in the mix. You're talking about a team that has everything in place, and then they open at East Carolina. East Carolina, who's not bad, decent quarterback, and they're moving in the right direction. Circle that one right now. Brandon Walker said it. East Carolina against NC State is a huge, gigantic trap in week 1.
In-state rivalries, underappreciated.
Carolina has an underrated fan
recruits.
base, too.
The Super Bowl for East Carolina.
Yep, underappreciated recruits makes
They'll
sense.
find themselves in a dogfight in the fourth quarter.
What do you think of the Cincinnati-Arkansas Week 1 game, Brandon? I just think that's an interesting matchup.
I think Week 1 has several. They don't have. I don't think Week 1 has any huge marquee games outside of Ohio State, Notre Dame. But it does have several interesting games. Like Florida State, LSU is very interesting.
Oh, yeah.
The one you just mentioned. What was the one you just mentioned?
Cincinnati at Arkansas.
Cincinnati, Arkansas. I think that is fascinating because Arkansas believes they think they're going to go the 10-win territory this year, and I don't see it. Their schedule is rough. And opening with Cincinnati, if Cincinnati finds a quarterback in the next couple of weeks, couple of months, they're going to be really good. Arkansas should win it by a couple touchdowns, but I'd hate to open with Cincinnati at home.
Yeah, and at BYU, having Cincinnati at home and at BYU non-conference when you play in the SEC West, you're not kidding about the schedule.
Arkansas has a stretch where they go at Auburn, at Mississippi State, at A&M, and at Alabama, or not at Alabama, but they have Alabama in there. And in the middle of that, they go to Provo, Utah. It's terrifying.
Damn. Are there any other freshman quarterbacks you're really watching out for? I know A&M's real hyped on theirs.
Oh, well, if you consider Quinn Ewers a freshman, I think he's definitely the one to watch.
Counts.
The guy at Clemson, Cade Klubnik, is one to watch as well. And I don't know about freshman quarterbacks, but first-year quarterbacks like Cam Ward at Washington State.
Oh, yeah.
You got to watch him, too.
Oh, yeah.
I was telling Ev about it.
I was watching his highlight tape earlier this week.
Unbelievable. Washington State's never going to be out of it.
He throws a nice ball.
They're going to give up a ton, but he can get some fucking points, so he's going to be interesting to watch.
Also, Rutgers has a guy. I can't remember his name off the top of my head. Gavin something. But he, he was. I think he signed with Rutgers and played a game when he was 14 years old last year. He was.
Wimsat.
Everyone knows Gavin Wimsat.
Gavin Wimsat.
Gavin's Watts. What? Yeah.
Wimsat.
Gavin Wimsat.
TJ, is that who you said for Heisman?
No, that's Adam Korsak, our punter.
Another act.
Get it right, Marty. It's their punter. Jeez.
My bad.
The best punter in the country.
Really good punter.
Should have known. What's Rutgers over under?
4.
Like 4.5.
4.
I thought we were getting better.
Smash.
We are getting better. They won't.
Tough schedule, Mark.
We're tough schedule. Plus, we're better as an underdog anyway. Let them doubt us.
Just get to that bowl, TJ. Hopefully, it's a pinstripe bowl. Brandon, me and Ev looked at it last year. A lot of teams with huge plus signs ended up winning their conferences. Do you think it comes back to the norm this year where, Clemson at minus 125 and Bama at Ohio State? Like, how many of the, what are there, 11 conferences? Like, of the 11, how many over 10-1 come through? Would you put it at, like, half? Like, over half?
It's never going to happen. I mean, just based on numbers and statistics, it's never going to happen that much, right?
Like, it was crazy last year.
If it happens, if 3 of them do it, that's a statistical miracle. And last year it was bigger than that. So yeah, we probably do return to normal. But I don't know, like Alabama, Georgia can give them a run in the SEC title game probably. I just don't see it. This is a peak Alabama team, and they're winning the SEC every year anyway, so they're going to win it. Ohio State, I don't see anybody to check them in the Big Ten. In the Big 12, it could be one of like 6 or 7 teams. I like Kansas State as an outside flyer to win it. They got NFL talent on defense, and they got if this quarterback from Nebraska can
Martinez, yeah.
We're gonna find out.
With Klein calling the plays, I love Kansas State. That would be the only long shot in the Big 12 I'd look at.
The Pac-12 is weird in that you have USC coming back, you have Utah sitting there already, Oregon going through a transition, and then a bunch of remarkably shitty teams. Yeah. I would look at, if I was going for a wild card, like a long shot, I'd look at Stanford. The talent profile's not bad, and the quarterback is outstanding. But
I thought you were going to say Oregon State. Aren't they going to be a little bit better?
They're going to probably be a little bit better, but
good offensive line, good running game.
Stanford's
I like they were good to me.
Stanford's 33-1.
Stanford and Wisconsin. If you trade the uniforms, you couldn't tell the two teams apart. And Stanford now is like they're really bad.
Stanford's been trashed the last couple of years. I'm just saying that they got Tanner McKee, who's a 5-star big-time quarterback. I think they're going to start raising their level of play very, very soon. Whether it's this year or not, I don't know.
So you would say, I guess, to answer it and close it out, more likely the long shots would be in the group of 5s than the power 5s.
I would assume so.
Yeah, I agree with you as well.
Awesome. So Brandon, coming back to it, your 2 win total Wednesdays were over on Texas.
Over 8.5 Texas, over 7 Minnesota.
Okay. Cool.
Minnesota's a good number.
Loving the college
Real-
football talk.
Real quick, what losses does Minnesota have as a lock as well? Is it 3? Is it 4?
I think it's at Michigan State. I'm going to go ahead and say that's a loss.
That's not a lock. That's not a lock loss, but yeah.
I'm saying I don't know if that's a lock loss.
No,
But,
I'm saying it's not. I was looking more of like who do they have that's guaranteed losses, and then you can
they
kind of
really don't have one.
Yeah, there you go.
They don't play Ohio State.
They don't play Michigan
All
either.
right. So
They
you
don't
can
play
cut.
Michigan.
All right.
At Penn State's a tough game.
So that helps your point. That's all I was saying.
Purdue at
You know how
home.
it is. You're saying I'm going over 7, but they got 3 guaranteed losses. My margin of now is much smaller.
Honestly, they have a lot more. I mean, their first 3 games are just literally layups.
Yeah. Well, it's flex, so I mean he lost to fucking Bowling Green last year.
True.
So
That's a very good point.
that's all. Yeah, but 7's a good number, and you don't have any real like guaranteed losses. So
All right. I might be back soon. I might not. I don't know. Some things have happened in my life.
Okay. Well, enjoy being in the South. I heard it's quite warm down there.
Shut up, man.
Quite warm here.
No, yeah, it's bad.
Brutal here.
Heat advisor here. We're going to get John Rich on the phone real quick because his winning streak ended yesterday. John, what's up, man?
Hey, what's up, guys? Hey, first of all, since it's Win Total Wednesday, I want to give you guys Bowling Green State University over 3.5. I actually know a guy who works there, said the culture has completely changed the last 2 years. Leffler's a good coach. They showed flashes last year. Have a little more experience this year. They're a sleeper in the MAC. Should be able to grab 4 or 5 easily. But, yeah, last night was tough for me, guys. The Las Vegas Aces minus 9-10 took a pounding. Honestly, wasn't even close from the jump. So first off, I'd like to apologize to all the Pick Central listeners out there. TJ the hater got his wish. I lost. I know people follow me for guaranteed winners, and I let you all down. But look, I'm not an excuses guy. I will not blame Martina Trevisan for being a coward and dropping out of her tennis match, forcing me to make a last-minute switch to the Las Vegas Lady Aces. I will not call the Las Vegas Lady Aces a disgrace to women everywhere. I will not say that. Nobody held a gun to my head. I made the pick. I will learn from my mistake and be better for it. I got careless near the end of that streak. I should have stuck with guaranteed winners like Anthony Rizzo to not hit a home run, which he has never done since I bet him. But it's all right. We're going to switch gears now. I figured there's about 160 days left in 2022. If I play my cards right, I think I can be up 10 units by then. So we're going to turn $10 to $100 by the end of the year. It's the road to 10 units, boys. Everybody get on board.
Okay, and then your only one today, you're going to go ahead and get that win total in? That's yours for today? Bowling Green over?
Yeah. Throwing the Bowling Green State University over 3.5 win total for today.
All right. Well, I hadn't seen anybody apologize for losing like that on Pick Central.
Honor, integrity, class, John Rich.
Absolutely. Thank you. That's what I'm here for. I own up to my losses. It won't happen again. It's not going to happen again.
It's not going to happen again. Wow, that's a pretty bold statement saying you're not going to lose again. But we'll see. I'm glad no one else in this room is. I can't accuse anybody else in this room of saying that.
That's my stance. We're gonna see how long I can ride that out.
It's such a ridiculous graphic. 15-1 plus 1.16.
I mean, if Bowling Green comes through, that'll be huge in December. That'll be a full unit.
It's going to be huge.
I always hated that.
Yeah,
Scott Loeffler, I've always hated that coach. He was the offensive coordinator at Virginia Tech and Michigan. He's been around. I always thought he was shit.
He's kind of a shit. He basically, when he took the job at Bowling Green, he just started taking every single player from Boston College who had coached before that, and we just basically had Boston College JV team for the first year and a half. I don't know if I like him either.
I'm not allowed to say anything.
He seems to be, he seems to be turning around all right though.
I'm not allowed to say anything bad about Boston College anymore. Got tagged in some hateful messages about Boston College.
On the message board, or what happened?
Oh no, fucking people tweeting at me, DMing me, like with the clip, like you called him flavor of the week. Fuck you. Okay, Boston College. I didn't know that.
They're salty, huh?
Of all the fan bases, you get it about the randoms. The Grant Wells stands want to come after me.
Oh yeah.
Too. So it's you never know. Like you could say whatever you want about like Oklahoma and Ohio State, and they'll brush it right off. Say something bad about BC and Grant Wells, you're in trouble.
That's probably Stanko.
Oh, it's Stanko.
Really wearing the hat.
Okay.
Does anybody have any picks for today? I know you had the WNBA already went off.
It's going on right now. I got the Sky -2. They're up 4 at half. So we're on pace.
I got nothing.
Same
Yeah.
play, the same as Big Ev.
Nah, yeah, we just had our win.
Also, I'm annoyed. I think they hit a shot at the buzzer in the half, and they took it off the board.
Oh yeah.
They were just up 6, and I checked again. They're up 4. The bullshit.
Marty, welcome back. Anything? Do you have any more iCasino stuff this week or?
Tonight, 9 o'clock. Me and Dana, will be back. Hopefully, we're gonna try and hit 10K tonight.
All right.
Money. So.
Good luck.
Thank you.
Hope you get all the chips.
I need it.
All right. Thanks, John Rich, for joining us on the phone. Enjoyed loving the college football talk and just football talk in general. Kind of just getting in that spirit. I like that we're jumping on it mid to late July, too.
It's like 4 weeks till week 0.
Well, a little more. It's August 27th, so 5.
Yeah.
So 5 weeks till week 0. I mean, we're about to have training camp and all that started. Stephen Che and I taped our first Fantasy Football Factory pod today, too. So kind of just getting excited, getting in the spirit of everything. Try to stay cool. But is this the hottest New York's been in a while?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
And Concrete gets like 20 degrees hotter too. So.
Yeah, no, it's pretty dang rough out there. So stay hydrated, everybody. And anything else y'all got going on this week? You want to promote anything?
I have a video coming out either Thursday or Monday, so I'll let you know.
Okay.
Hot ice tomorrow. Back in the fucking grind.
Go Sky.
Congrats to my guys Tim Elko and Kevin Graham for getting drafted. Roll best. Chicago White Sox and Arizona Diamondbacks. Happy for those
They're
guys.
both fucked.
Stay tuned. The Yak is up next.
Back.